Proof of sanity. What I am about to tell you is a story about an incident that happened to me 2 years ago. The effects of this incident continue to this day. No one may be interested in the story of a mere salaryman like me, but I would like you to hear it. The first sign of something unusual in my daily life was when I returned to my parents' house for the first time in a long time. I didn't have any special reason for going home. I just happened to hear from a friend about a popular restaurant, looked it up, and found that it was relatively close to my parents' house, so I thought, well, I'll go home for the first time in a while. My parents' house is a typical 2-story house in a residential area. If I looked closely, I could see that she was in pain here and there, but she looked pretty much the same as I remembered her. When I opened the front door, my mother came out to greet me. She looked much older than I remembered. "Long time no see. You should come home more often. You're such an unfilial son." She started nagging me as soon as we met. She hasn't changed in that regard. I've been busy. But I still came home, so that's good, right? With her nagging ringing in my ears, I fled to my old room. When I opened the door, the room was exactly as I remembered it. It seemed that my mother had kept it tidy even after I left home. There was no dust at all. I was grateful for that. I left home right after graduating from college. More than 10 years have passed since then, but the room showed no signs of aging. The desk I used for studying is still there, and the shelves are decorated with game cards I collected during my college days. Unlike me, who is now over 30 and an old man, this room still feels like a student's room. I feel like I've slipped back in time. I roll over in bed. The familiar ceiling greets me. I think about relaxing until nighttime, and casually glance around the room, where I notice something strange. Huh? What's this? There are several posters on the wall, but one of them looks unfamiliar. It's a poster with a white background and a red pattern on it. I don't know what it's supposed to represent. It's just red paint splattered on a white canvas. That's what the poster looks like. I don't remember putting it up. I went to my mother's house and asked her, "Hey, did you put up a weird poster in my room? It's a poster with a red pattern on it." But she replied, "Huh? I don't know anything about that. I haven't moved anything in your room. Maybe you put it up and forgot about it." That was all he said. Well, it's true that it's strange for my mother to put up a weird poster in my room without my permission. It's not like I haven't been home at all since I left. It's natural to think that I put it up myself and forgot about it, but is it possible to not remember something like this at all? Normally, I think you would remember it vaguely. Well, never mind. It's not like one more poster is going to cause any problems. I decided not to worry about it. I lazed around until evening, then went to a nearby restaurant for dinner. I returned home and went back to my old room. Well, I guess I'll take a bath and relax. I casually looked around the room. Huh? A calendar I wasn't familiar with caught my eye. It was a desk calendar. The calendar was decorated with red patterns. The same patterns as the poster. Huh? What is this? I don't know anything about this calendar. Or rather, was it here before I left? When I entered my room for the first time in a while at noon today, I didn't look around carefully, so it may have been there from the beginning. I took a close look at the calendar. This calendar is not from this year. It's from 20. That's 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I had already left home and hardly ever returned. There's no reason for me to have bought something like this and put it in my room. Why does something like this exist? Did someone sneak into my room while I was away and do something without my permission? I asked my mother again, but she still didn't know. What's going on? I looked up the poster and calendar online to see what they were. Maybe I'd find some clues. But no matter how much I searched, nothing came up. I tried various search engines, but nothing came up. Maybe they're good sold in very limited places. Maybe they're occasionally sold by individuals at flea markets or something. Even so, is it possible that there's absolutely no information about them? I started to feel sick. I decided to throw away the calendar and poster. I stuffed them into a garbage bag and quickly left my parents' house. I had originally planned to stay overnight, but I wasn't in the mood anymore. Nothing happened for a while after that. About a month later, my mother contacted me. "Aren't you coming home? Come visit us again sometime." It was a hassle, but I was curious to see what my old room looked like. I returned to my parents' house for the first time in a month. When I opened the door to my house, my mother greeted me. "Welcome home. Take it easy." She said that and went back to the balcony. She seemed surprisingly calm considering she had called me. What the hell is going on? Well, never mind. I opened the door to my room. What the? The moment I opened the door, something strange caught my eye. The entire room looked completely different from a month ago. The bedding on the bed had been replaced with red patterned sheets. The pillowcases too. All the posters had been replaced with ones with the same bright red pattern. All the clothes hanging on the shelves were wrapped in covers with the same bright red pattern. The same went for the items on the desk. The calendar, the files, the ballpoint pens. Everything had that pattern on it. What the hell is this? This is way too weird. I looked for my mother. Surely she couldn't be unaware of this abnormality. My mother was hanging laundry on the balcony. "Hey. That's my room, but when did you change it into such a tacky place?" The scene before my eyes stopped my thoughts. "What? Do you need something?" My mother looked puzzled. She seemed unchanged. The only thing that had changed was her clothing. My mother was wearing a red patterned dress. It seemed to be invading my room. No, it's nothing. If I asked my mother, she would know what the pattern was. But I couldn't bring myself to ask. I had a feeling that if I asked, something terrible would happen. I quickly returned to my room. What on earth was going on? I could feel my body shaking. Something was happening at my parents' house. Something's up. What's this red pattern? Could my mom have gotten into some weird new religion without me knowing? Is this red pattern some kind of symbol for that religion? But I looked it up online and couldn't find any info about it. If it's spreading even to my mom, who should only be living within a limited community, there should be some information about it online. Besides, if she's gotten involved in a new religion, she should be trying to convert me, her son. But she doesn't talk about that pattern at all. What's going on? Anyway, this is making me feel uneasy. I had to find out what was going on. A little while later, I pretended to go out, opened the front door loudly, but instead of going outside, I quietly returned to my room and hid in the closet. My mother must have thought I had left the house. I decided to wait and see what would happen. I held my breath and waited for something to happen. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Suddenly, my room door opened, and my mother walked in. It was so sudden that I almost let out a scream. My mother was holding something. It looked like a curtain. The curtain had a red pattern on it. Exclamation mark. Damn it. It was my mother after all. Well, I was prepared for it. My father had died, and my mother was the only one left in the house. Logically, there was no one else who could have been the culprit but my mother. But seeing the scene like this was still a shock. Why did she do such a thing? My mother is silently replacing the current curtains with red patterned ones. Why is she doing this? Is she involved in some strange new religion? As I was thinking about this, I heard something. It seems that my mother is saying something. She is saying something in a small voice. What is it? What is she saying? Her voice gradually grew louder. I wish it would change soon. I wish it would change soon. I wish it would change soon. She kept muttering the same thing over and over, in a steady rhythm. As if she were playing a recording on repeat, she kept muttering in the same tone without changing at all. I felt a chill. My mother was in the room. Was this really my mother? When she finished changing the curtains, she left the room. I couldn't bring myself to come out of the closet for a while. I felt that if I came out carelessly and ran into her, it would be the end. I waited for my mother to leave the house, careful even in my breathing. How much time had passed? I heard footsteps and the sound of the front door opening. I confirmed this and quietly came out of the closet. I immediately began to prepare to leave the house. In addition to the things I brought with me, I packed my bag with items from my room that I was attached to. It's better not to come back here anymore. Unfortunately, my mother is no longer the person I knew. I put my college albums and graduation photos in my bag and carefully walked out the front door. Fortunately, my mother wasn't waiting for me. I hurriedly ran out of the house. I tried to leave quickly, but my feet stopped as I turned the corner. Looking back, there was my childhood home. I was born here and raised here. Compared to when I was a kid, it's pretty run down, but it's still my childhood home. Why did it come to this? I felt something welling up inside me, but I turned the corner and ran away. I whispered a quiet goodbye. For the next few weeks, I didn't go out at all except for work and stayed holed up at home. I was a little scared that my mom might suddenly contact me or come to my apartment. But nothing happened. Sometimes I opened the album I brought from my childhood home and looked at the photos of me and my mother smiling. It made me feel helpless. At that time, an old friend invited me out for a drink. It was a godsend for me, who was feeling a little depressed. I decided to drink heavily and forget everything. I readily agreed. Hey, long time no see. Sorry for inviting you out on such short notice. My friend was his usual self. I felt relieved. If even my friend had changed, I would have felt hopeless. No, it's fine. I was in the mood for a drink anyway. Let's drink until we drop today. Okay. But you seem different somehow. Did something happen? I was startled. Maybe my face showed how tired I was. Nothing's wrong. Do I look strange? No. It's just that outfit. Are you the type of person who wears such strange clothes? My friend pointed down at my face. When I looked down, I saw the red patterned clothes. Wow. I shouted out loud. Before I knew it, I was wearing that red patterned shirt. Why? Why? I panicked a little. I definitely didn't come here wearing this. In fact, I didn't even have clothes like this. Then why? Hey. Calm down. My friend rushed over to me. What's wrong? Did something happen? I'll listen to your story, so calm down first. Thanks to him repeatedly talking to me, I was able to calm down somehow. I didn't feel like drinking at all, so I canceled my plans for that day. I apologized profusely to my friend. He said he would always be there to talk to me, but I couldn't bring myself to talk to him. I returned to my apartment, cut up the shirt with scissors, and threw it in the trash. I checked to see if there were any other red patterns. I couldn't believe anything anymore. I checked thoroughly. There were. In my family album, there was a graduation album. There was a photo of me in it. All of my clothes in the photo had been painted red. No. I screamed. I screamed and tore up the album right there and then. I immediately started the moving process. My mother, no. That guy knew where I was. I couldn't stay here. I threw away everything I had and bought everything new. Now I live in a completely different place, and nothing has happened since then. I just meet up with my friends regularly and ask them to check that my clothes aren't weird. I think I'm okay now, but I still don't feel confident. I can't prove that I'm sane. What if I go crazy and it rubs off on my friends and they go crazy too? If that happens, I won't know what to do. That's why I've kept contact with my friends to a minimum since then. My life will never go back to the way it was. This is the end of this story. Thank you for listening to the end.